Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, as you can tell by the title, we will be going over this strong storm system that could be impacting a good portion of the United States with some severe weather and also some nasty nasty temperatures out ahead of this. And I will also be going over a bit of the pattern that is kind of left in the wake of this system and why that is as pretty much concerning as this storm, if actually not worse, because of the extreme temperatures that a certain area of the United States could be seeing for an extended period of time, potentially delivering some devastating consequences. And yes, I do realize my word choice there, and I did say devastating. Okay, so let's start talking about this. So first off, I want to show you the GFS model. So the GFS model is often one of my favorite models. I use it interchangeably, with the European as well, because those are two of the best models in my opinion that I can use. Though again, the GFS does have its downsides. I still do probably prefer the European over it. You probably don't really care. I don't know why I'm even mentioning that, but I will be showing you those two models and a few high range models about this upcoming storm system. So this thing right now, the storm I'm talking about, is right there across the northwestern United States, and it is taking its time delivering showers and storms across southern Canada. We do have a few areas of interest across the United States today. The Storm Prediction Center does have a few areas that have a slight risk for severe weather, so that is definitely something to watch for. Notice on Tuesday, so this is kind of already tomorrow, right? The first day of the system, we do have a slight risk for portions of Duluth and Superior, Wisconsin. So those are the cities, but notice the arrowhead of Minnesota, and this does definitely extend into southern Canada for my viewers there, except this is only a forecasting agency for the US, so it stops at the border. The biggest threat, tornadoes pretty much non-existent. Wind and hail, especially wind though, I would say, with these systems or these storms that could spawn from this system. So as I put this forward, notice that into tomorrow, right? So this is late tomorrow, 7 p.m. Notice we have this pretty decently organized system. Notice the isobars, how see these squiggly lines, how they're not really packed. Look at these ones right here. They're not really packed whatsoever. They're all squiggly. Kind of that indicates that the wind is very weak and not really in one given direction. In this case, you can see that they are very tightly packed, relatively at least, for a summer system. And that is, you could figure out based on how a high pressure spins clockwise. So the winds are being steered this way, the low pressure spins counterclockwise, and that's how it creates this tunnel of very strong winds, basically, that funnel very warm air into the United States right here, and that delivers quite a bit of moisture, but also, again, as I was mentioning, sorry about that earlier, it delivers a lot of very warm temperatures. Notice the anomalies, which is basically giving us how warm from the average the temperatures are at any given point based on climatology that is from 1981 to 2010. You can see some of these anomalies are really almost scary, with almost 16 to 20 degrees Celsius above average, which would render a lot of hundreds across Minnesota tomorrow. So if you live there, really Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, it's gonna be hot. And notice that during the night, it doesn't really cool off too much. I mean, we have widespread 80s, even mid 80s during the night. That is, that is rather ridiculous. And notice that during the day on Wednesday, they're also definitely going to be some very hot temperatures, though it does kind of cool down a bit. But what comes after this system in terms of temperatures is, I guess, a bit more concerning. Let's go back to the radar range / frozen. Again, that's our system. You can see by late Tuesday, it is developing showers and storms across South Dakota, Nebraska, Wyoming, into portions of North Dakota, Minnesota. These, again, probably do have the capability of being severe, though it should not be widespread. Mainly just showers and thunderstorms. Where they do have a chance of being severe is across Wisconsin, the UP of Michigan, and portions of Arrowhead of Minnesota, and of course in southern Canada, where this system is probably going to be at its, really the center of it's going to be centered there. There could be some stronger systems or storms that could deliver hail and wind. Tornadoes, a smaller threat, but definitely still there, especially with an area of circulation as strong as that is. Do note that as we push this into tomorrow night, so this is really at this point early Wednesday morning, 7 a.m. Notice we have a very nice line stretching through most of Michigan, most of the UP. Again, Canada being impacted by this, right? Thunder Bay. At this point, it's moving through Ontario province, pushing into Quebec. Some showers and storms across Iowa. And again, these are hard to predict, right? It could be pretty much nothing at this time when it actually does come around 7 a.m. Wednesday, or we could have a nasty line of storms here. these models do a good job, but during the summer it's just really hard to predict these things. Notice during the day, right, 1 p.m. we do see a weakening trend, but by 7 p.m. we see an explosion of storms, and you can see that that kind of develops this pretty long, prolonged cold front, and you can see a lot of areas of showers as this thing blasts way into, at this point, almost central to northern Canada. We have these showers developing across Illinois, Kansas City, Kansas, Missouri, Detroit, into Toronto, portions of Quebec, and these things will be pretty slow moving, and you can see that by the time it's 1 a.m. they are still hanging around the general vicinity of the similar areas, though now maybe Indianapolis, Detroit, further south, especially the further south you go here, you can see it's a bit slower moving as the center right there starts to kind of take a more northerly direction versus an easterly direction. The actual circulation, you can't really see that though. And I notice that right there, all right, I mean, a situation like that may not look concerning, but if you have an area of showers and storms over several hours over one area, that could lead to flooding. You know, we all saw the Kentucky floodings. I mean, they seemingly kind of came out of nowhere, right? It's not always that you get these ridiculous flooding events from hurricanes or whatever. They could be just from a regular thunderstorm complex that takes a very long time over a certain area, or just reforms over and over again, and that just floods the area. Notice that that may be the case with some of these areas. Obviously, I'm not warning of any similar situations like we saw in Kentucky, but definitely something that could be causing some flash flood warnings and maybe some ponding on roadways, and hopefully nothing too bad. And I noticed by Thursday evening, the remnants of it kind of develop across the Northeast, and then by then that system, I guess you could call that the cold front still on Saturday or Friday, moving out. And I do want to say that there's going to be more systems. Notice, right, we see another speedy system next week. This one, again, delivering a lot of warm air out ahead of it, and I want to focus on that right now, because as you saw, out ahead of this current system, there's going to be a lot of warm air, but behind it, there's going to be a little bit of cool air, but not too much, as another system pumps up a lot of warm air. So notice, especially on days like Thursday, the Northeast will be sweltering, the plains back in the heat. These anomalies are pretty significant, but look how bad it does get. So by Friday, we're seeing widespread hundreds across the Dakotas, kind of the heart of the plains, Minnesota, southern North Dakota, northern Nebraska, and then we do have an area of very cool weather across southern Canada, but that kind of really stays up there. Notice a lot of this heat does kind of try fighting with this cool air. It really has a stubborn time going into the United States, or a tough time. Thankfully, the GFS does bring a bit of cool weather for these areas, and that's kind of incredible, actually, how quickly the weather will change in terms of Fahrenheit. So look, right, 107 on the border of Nebraska, South Dakota on Friday, and then by Saturday, you're seeing 68. So that's a 40 to 50 temperature drop in terms of the highs, with days right next to each other. So that's also a bit unpleasant when that type of stuff happens. But I mean, at least it's it's going to be cooler, so you can't completely complain about that. So again, after that system, we do see a little of a break, a little bit of cool weather. But then it seems that there could be more prolonged area of heat. Notice there's really no big system forming, so this heat kind of just forms, and it really just starts, I mean, those anomalies right there are very concerning, even if they were to go for 1 to 2 days. But as I'm going to play this through, notice this stays through Friday, August 13th, 14th, over a very similar, sizable area of the central United States. And these anomalies do, you can see, make a southern shift towards the end, but that may not even be the end of it, as you can see more heat to the north. But just to give you kind of a perspective, some of these temperatures here are just literally off the charts. And if they were to occur, it would be, I mean, it would be news stories. I mean, 115 across, in Omaha. You're obviously used to hot temperatures here during the summer, but 113, for several days in a row, if that were to actually happen, that would be a very, that'd be very concerning, to say the least. And just to show you, these areas won't necessarily be seeing a lot of rain in the next 384 hours, next 15 days. You can see it's there a little bit, and even an inch of rain every day with such temperatures would be kind of not really enough, as those temperatures, I mean, they're just going to be, sucking every moisture they can out of all plants and soil and everything. Those temperatures you don't really see across the central United States. hence why those anomalies are so strong. I could show you the European now. Let me show you what the European thinks of the storm system first, and then I'll show you the temperatures as well. So again, there it is, Tuesday right today. It's starting to form across Canada. It's delivering some showers. Tomorrow during the day and afternoon starts delivering some nasty storms across Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then into portions of southern Canada. Again, these storms could be a bit more amplified or not, depending on how the micro environmental conditions set up during the day, and that really isn't forecastable till a few hours before the storms actually occur. So just stay tuned to your National Weather Service, and notice that by Wednesday afternoon we start seeing these storms redevelop, just like the GFS showed. So the European is on track with that. Notice some of these could be potentially strong, a lot of rain, a lot of potentially hail, wind. And notice that the European does a very good job of showing how slow moving this cold front is, and it really drags its feet with it. Indiana, Ohio into Friday, in the Northeast into Saturday, just a very, very slow moving system. And it does show more activity towards the north on Saturday, very long stretch out, another cold front. Again, only bringing minor relief out ahead of this extremely hot temperatures potentially. And let me show you what the European shows, at least in the meantime, between those systems, because if you recall, the GFS starts showing the worst of the temperatures around the time the European stops making its kind of forecast hours, as the European only goes out to 10 days. But look, right there, right? That's ahead of the system that I'm talking about. The first one, notice very warm temperatures. These things are going to be bringing 90s, hundreds across, again, Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois. And do note that across the Northeast, it's going to be the same. Look at that. Thursday, August 4th. Potentially hundreds, Boston, Connecticut, Hartford, right, Rhode Island, Providence, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, all those states and cities will be seeing a very, very warm temperatures. Let's go back to the 2 meter temperature shaded, anomaly, and continue this. Notice that we do see a little bit of relief behind that system on Wednesday, Friday, but out ahead of the next one, we see again more warm temperatures, and some of this heat will be again rather remarkable, delivering some highs that could be breaking records. Notice it starts targeting the central United States like the GFS was, though again it is not as much as the GFS was showing. So we'll have to see precisely which model, I guess, wins out, if you will. I do want to show you though that again the GFS at hour 240 was let's go forward. I want to start showing this to you. Since the GFS goes out further than the European, they're not completely comparable, but notice that the GFS around hour 200 starts showing these extremely warm temperatures developing across the central United States, while the European, not necessarily. It definitely, obviously doesn't go out as far, but it definitely shows the early signs. It's just maybe a bit more delayed and not necessarily not showing it. I'd be curious if the European went out, 100, 200 more hours. I feel like this would move into this part of the United States, and that's where it would cause some of the warm, I mean, not even warm, just extreme anomalies. And you can see the European kind of drags into this high pressure, which cools a few areas off. We'll definitely just have to we'll have to wait and see, because definitely in the meantime there's going to be hot temperatures in between these systems. I mean, we could look at some of the high res models, right, like the NAM. It gives us a little bit more information about, say, the heat tomorrow out ahead of it. And notice that this is tomorrow, 11 a.m., right, 1 p.m. This is now 2 p.m. Look at those temperatures. Those are very hot temperatures, 108, 109, 100 across Iowa, 100 potentially into Minnesota. And you can see that during the night, it's not necessarily much relief. Very hot temperatures here, 90s, even some hundreds probably across Illinois, Indiana, Michigan tomorrow. And then we do see that cold front move through and bring some relief. But you could see it's starting to heat up right again after that. I could show you another VF3 high res. Let's take a look at what this thing shows in terms of temperatures. That's today, again, a very hot day already. And tomorrow it shows even more. And I'll show you what it does. Going through the nighttime hours here, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. You can see it shows even hotter temperatures in the NAM. Maybe a bit overdone. I don't quite think it will hit 105 in Minneapolis, though definitely triple digits are a possibility. And I want to show you what it shows in terms of the precipitation, right? Again, that's tonight's system, the little one, if you will, though definitely could cause still some pretty nasty storms. Notice it does develop some storms across Illinois, Indiana today and into tomorrow morning. But again, the big one is right over here. You can see it starts moving, and it starts garnishing a lot of these kind of little moisture bubbles, if you will, and it starts sprouting a lot of storms and showers, and that could continue. You could see, especially into late Wednesday, it develops as a nasty cold front, which could be dropping a bit of severe weather. Regarding Wednesday, for now, the Storm Prediction Center has a marginal across large cities: Chicago, Milwaukee, Kansas City. That's a population of 22 million people. So that's that. It's not a significant threat yet. I do believe that they will be issuing a slight for a good portion of this area. An enhanced is definitely possible, a pocket of it. Though again, an enhanced is a pretty strong risk at that point. And you can see that it's day 3, so it's still a bit out, and we'll have to see exactly what they do with that. And again, in the meantime, we do have a slight risk today across Nebraska and 2 portions of Iowa, again Kentucky, unfortunately Ohio, and then tomorrow across the northern plains. But again, a small little pocket here across Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, Tennessee, Missouri. And this isn't a threat for normal storms. What I'm showing you here is for severe storms, and severe storms have certain criteria, and I can show you them right here. Severe storm, any storm that contains at least one of the following: wind gusts of at least 58, that's usually enough to knock over a few trees and take down power lines and whatnot. Hail at least 1 inch in diameter. If that were to hit your car, that could break pretty much the windshield through. And of course, tornadoes. And this is a pretty good graph of showing you what the different risks are. Again, marginal is nothing too bad. You could see you could experience this several times per year. Slight is when it starts getting it starts getting a bit more elevated. May experience just a few times a year. Enhanced is when it experience it once or twice per year, and I do think that cold front could definitely be producing a few areas of enhanced. I don't believe there will be a moderate, though again, that could kind of pop out of nowhere sometimes. So these moderate and high is something you'd never want to see. High is just something that's pretty much elusive and legendary. You only experience that once or twice in a lifetime. I wouldn't say legendary; it's probably a bad word choice, but more of catastrophic. So I can show you another high resolution model. This is the Canadian high res, so it's a model that goes up to 84 hours. It's a decent it's a model that does a very good job in my opinion. And let me show you this. So again, there's that system. You can see some pretty nasty showers and storms across southern Canada. Maybe over amplifying that. We'll have to see though. Notice that on Tuesday, again, the biggest threat is across the North Woods, really Minnesota, the Arrowhead, and into the UP of Michigan and into Wisconsin. That is tomorrow late in the evening. By Wednesday morning, it's developing showers across, again, good portions of Ontario. It's pretty much done with Manitoba, Saskatchewan, but it's bringing showers into northern Michigan. At this time is when that cold front starts becoming stronger. 11 a.m., 12 p.m. You can see some already storms firing up across Iowa, but it's really up until not until the daytime heating kind of really gets in full swing that we see some of these nastier storms develop. You can see the RGM does do a bit of a more disorganized cold front style. Storms up here, storms down to the south. We'll have to see. Again, I do believe it will be a bit more filled in than what this model shows. But notice that the next day it's into the Ohio Valley and into the Northeast, and it's slow moving rather. And then we see another system with actually very good circulation, and look, even a little bit of snow right there across the mountains, that little speckle of blue. We're getting to that time of the year where we will be seeing more and more of that across the mountains, and eventually maybe even into the plains within a 2 or 3 months, maybe even a month or 2. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next episode. See ya.